Both these teams have been coming off losses. Ever recently lost a 1-2 against the Rocks Tigers. What seemed to be a newfound Ever, with Malrang getting his hands on Elise, quickly got dismantled in a reverse sweep in the Rocks Tigers fashion, as well as MVP actually taking over the match against BBQ, breaking their 14-game loss streak against BBQ. So that gives you an idea as to where these two teams stand, and we might get ourselves a long series, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be reminiscent of the Jenner versus Kongdu or the Jenner versus BBQ of spring, but I hope that we get kind of a competitive match here, as we already see a bunch of targeted bans against Septed. Seems like BBQ saying, okay, if we can shut down one of Ever8's big carries, we can win the game.
4 mid lane bans. Definitely Septed has been making waves, even though the team has been lackluster, but he himself has not been living up to the standard that I think was awarded to him in the beginning of the split. In their match against Rocks Tigers, multiple times did he get caught out, and while he was making plays that were beneficial to the team, there were plenty that were detrimental in that match for Ever. So everybody on the side of Ever8 have to be stepping up, and I'm excited to see what they do with this new top laner. I imagine that bringing a rookie just means that you want to light a fire under Helper's booty, but yeah, maybe he himself is actually just a godly carry, especially red side start. We could see him pick up one of these crazy top laners like Lucian or even Jax. Oh,
we're gonna see Zach get through in game 1, and I saw the big grin on Ghost's face, because I think he was thinking the same thing I was, that he was going to be getting Caitlyn, because no way that Ever8 lets Zach through instead, but they ban away the Caitlyn, figuring that the Caitlyn is stronger. But that means that we will be seeing Bless on Zach.
Well, I think they're going to go with Thresh Kalista here. Comeback has been playing his Thresh, and taking Kalista early on is a matchup that is strong into Zach. The hopping around is very useful when dealing with the skill shots that Zach has to bring to the table. However, I want to point that banning out Caitlyn is a smart move, because we saw in the match against Longju, I don't remember exactly who, but they traded Thresh or Caitlyn for the Zach, and it turned out that the team that had the Zach was able to obliterate Caitlyn, as the hard engage is just so easy to pull off when you're dealing with a long-range immobile AD carry. And if they were to not take it themselves, that means that you would be giving up Zach and Caitlyn to one team, and you might as well surrender and redraft at that point.
Go into game 2 right away. Well, we don't see the Thresh picked up right away. They actually decide to go for Lee Sin first, one of Malrang's big picks. And that means that it allows BBQ to pick up one of these big counters to the Zac and take the Thresh for their own.
I really disagree with this choice. Thresh is such a strong pick in denying Zac's engage. You can play out of every single elastic slingshot, guaranteeing that he never hits it. Granted, so many Zacs are not even good enough to hit the elastic slingshot, but the champion is weak into that matchup, and it combos beautifully with Kalista. However, we did see the deadly combination from Rocks Tigers of the Kalista and Rakan, so that might be what they're fancying. However, dealing with Zac in that duo combination might be much more difficult than with Thresh.
The hover until 0 seconds Tristana into the Twitch. So deciding to go with one of these hyper carries towards the late game in the Twitch. We've been seeing a lot more Tristana play, but not going to see it tonight, unfortunately. And Corki, another pick that's definitely come back into the meta with his change, so that he's basically an AP champion 100% now. 80% of his attacks are magic damage, even though they do scale off of AD. So basically all of his damage is magic.
And with so much magic damage and no front line, I'm really curious as to whatever is going to bring to this champion pool. I imagine that they're going to put Kin on a top lane tank here, because it just would not make much sense with the double ADs. I think Braum is a support that they're looking for here. Having so much auto attack at a distance will be quite potent with that, and BBQ recognized it and banned it away. Braum's actually quite powerful against Twitch. When you put up that Unbreakable, you can block so much of the spray and pray backline damage, but so far BBQ's draft is just all about that crazy team fighting late game, and Ever they need to have more utility to round this out if they want to stand up in a 5v5.
Yeah, I mean, so far, if you look at the picks, it seems like everybody's pretty decent against the Zac, right? You can Valkyrie away from the Elastic Slingshot. You can hop away with the Callista. Lee Sin's going to be okay. You can kick away the Zac if need be. But as you said, the composition isn't really coming together as a 5v5 group just yet. And they decide to go ahead and ban another kind of flex pick in the Karma. Although we do see that the Thresh is already picked, so they're targeting 10th with that one.
There's the Rakanban, making sure that you don't have this combination, but there's still plenty of spice to add to this salad of champions that Ever have drafted. Even Alistar would still be susceptible to getting flayed out of the Thresh, so maybe even a Blitzcrank could be, and it is going to be Alistar, but this is a matchup that Totoro, if he's on point, Flay can mitigate that headbutt, so it's a tall order, but with the combination of the Fate's Call for an engage, you make for a really nasty long-range initiation.
Well, comeback looking to make his comeback on a new champion here with the Alistar. Excited to see what he can do with that. Alistar definitely one of these picks that even if you do face check the brushes, you can kind of just get away if you're level 6, get out of that CC.
Well, he's staying true to his roots. Remember that when he was on KT Bullets and they were able to win LCK, Alistar was one of his main picks at the time. He was just on fire on this pick, and it's a pick that allows the rest of the team to make it so visible when he's going in and so that they can follow up. But BBQ will be responding with some powerful laners that if an engage is to happen where Alistar goes a little bit too deep, the Renekton Victor Twitch combination can obliterate your backline by the time you even land everybody else on the ground.
So, you were talking about the Lucian.
There it is.
Is he going to do it, though?
Oh, that's so bold.
That would be 3 80 carries in a sense, even though, as we talked about before, Corki does a lot of magic damage. Is he actually going to lock this in? I don't know, this just seems really risky. Okay, there it is.
Yes.
The lock-in for Keen. He's coming in his first game on the Lucian.
This man is living out his fantasy. Who else can say that you've made an LCS debut with Lucian top?
That's pretty sick.
Well, you do have the triple AD carry combination, so Ever's game plan is win lane, win game. They do not want to get to a team fighting phase with 3 essential AD carries. Ninja Tabis will be in order for pretty much everybody on BBQ's side. And with the Renekton that we've seen transition so well into the late game stages, team fighting, because of the new itemization between your Stone Plate, your Deadmans, your Tabis, he gets to be just a complete wrecking ball. And this could be an exciting matchup of either Ever snowballing early or BBQ crushing it late. However, I'm worried for Ever, as they did struggle in their matchups in closing out games when they had advantages.
Yeah, definitely a worrisome kind of draft. I mean, they pick another pick that can dash away from Elastic Slingshot, so there's that. If they're totally just drafting to get away from the Zac pick that they let through, they have succeeded to some extent.
Well, Alistar is also quite good into Zac because your Headbutt and your Pulverize can also mitigate the Elastic Slingshot, but how much is Zac really what you value in this draft? Whereas everything else around him seems to be in order for BBQ. Maybe an over-prioritization into this champion, who knows? After all, it is one of the most heavily contested champions in the world.
Has 100% pick and ban rate here in LCK Summer. There definitely is a reason for that. So excited as well to see Septed on the Corki. It's coming back into the meta, one of my favorite champions. And guys, it looks like game number 1 is ready to go. Let's jump into the Rift. Well, there you go. Game number 1 starting off here. BBQ versus Ever8. We got SKT versus MVP later on today for the second match of the night. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Malorang's job here is going to be exactly what Ever has been doing did in the promotion tournament, which was get an advantage for your jungler and allow your jungler to find out where Bless is. it's nearly impossible to ward against Zach as levels go on. So as long as he can have vision himself and track him down through camps, it will allow your Lucian, your Kalista lane, your Corki to get advantages early on and hopefully transition to a phase where they can start getting first brick towers without multiple people committing to those sides of the map. The ward did come down from Septa to at least scout out where Zach will be starting. So the plan is set in motion, but now they've gone full commando into the blue side.
And this was not spotted by Crazy. He actually didn't see it. He should see it now, as Keen is spotted. The pings go down. Not much they can do about it now, but at least they do get the information.
And the information that Bless has to respond with is that now the map has been split. Pings go out onto the blue side, and this means that Keen, which I hope I'm pronouncing his name properly, as we didn't really get it.
Keen, I guess.
Let's go with Keen, because we did not get, now that the map is split, pardon, Lucian's going to be able to push Renekton non-stop. And that means that this top lane advantage will mitigate Renekton's early game, but at the same time, you'll allow Twitch to snowball out of control, and this could be both the undoing of Ever as well as their win condition.
Yeah, just take a look at his Korean name. It is actually Kim Hee-in. So, yeah, we could just call him Keen. Definitely seems like a
How is he
good
playing
idea.
in NA and LCK?
NA and LCK?
Yeah, is it
Keen?
Yeah. But actually, I want to go back onto the point. I thought the map would be split, but Malrang decided to try to contest the blue buff, so now he falls behind for the invade that was initially attempted. Renekton can now safely play and do this. So a bit questionable. His route will end up topside as he's starting out from the Wolf onto red buff eventually, but you would have wanted to perhaps split the map completely and let Keen just pop off.
It was interesting to see his level 2 gank in mid as well. I mean, did do a bit of damage to Tempt, but you can see that Tempt's just a bit low on mana, but okay to stick around in the lane. Didn't put all too much pressure on.
Well, Tempt can't commit to any 1v1 fights as he is at a summoner disadvantage. Tempt taking the heal and Scepter with the teleport, so when he looks for that teleport advantage, has a good item spike, he should be getting some leads into this lane. And now we have Lee Sin scouting out for Zach once again, doing the Lee Sin job that was required of him when we saw this draft.
Yeah, Marang going in. Bless does spot him. And that will be shown as well. We got a couple of, actually 3 Doran shields in this game. We've been seeing the return back to Doran's Blade after the nerf to the Doran shield once again. You can only get 1 pot with that. But got a lot of those Doran shields here tonight. Definitely need that against the Lucian top for Crazy, at least.
It's also a good choice against the Twitch, and this gank is unlikely to work. He has been playing quite defensively. Yeah, so he sees this.
He does flash away, though. Perhaps his dash was down.
He didn't want to risk the chance that the Q would sling him back onto the range of Renekton. However, at the longest range, it doesn't really bounce you back as you'd normally expect it to do so. But the Doran shield into Twitch back up to the bottom lane means that every time that poison starts ticking, you're going to get your regen refreshed, and that allows Kalista to safely farm in that matchup. But Septa taking some good harass. You will have to recall soon. Don't get greedy. Even though Tempt does not have enough mana, he can use that teleport to start getting something on the map. However, I believe he's waiting on enough gold for likely a Sheen, so might still need a little bit more gold in his inventory before he is comfortable using that recall and teleport. Here it is.
Look at what Comeback just did there. He was going towards the mid lane, and you saw a couple of pings go down in mid, but you saw that also Tempt was playing it pretty relaxed and passive in the lane. So he just goes in there and he spots out Bless once again, which, as you said, is really important. You got to see where that Zac is. So all tabs right now on making sure that nobody gets ganked by the big blob.
But they are planning on perhaps ganking the big blob itself as they wait for him to tri-brush the Toro.
Ooh, he was thinking about it.
Everyone's smelling danger here.
Tons of pings going down on that red side. And Keen has been forced all the way back. Actually will miss a full cannon wave. He's going to go all the way back to the second turret.
Ever since that gank happened and Lee Sin was not on the top side, Crazy has been playing the lane properly and was able to start evening out that CS and even has a couple of minions in his favor. However, once these 5 die, it should almost even out. And here's where the things get hairy for Ever as the Ninja Tabi start coming out. Zach, however, did go with a Lucidity Rush, so looking to make a lot of plays happen. That CDR early on will help him clear out significantly faster than had he gone with a completed trackers or even rushed the jungle item. So I like this itemization, but for the ganks, not until level 6 is he really going to get a big benefit from this.
Looking for a play bot side. See if comeback is ready. And decides not to even go in total. Just maybe seemed a little bit too risky.
Malrang actually got spotted ward hopping on that mid lane turret. So once again, both teams are aware where the junglers are, which means more passive farming left, right, and center. And there's no chance for Zach to gank bot side. He does have smite on Bless, but Malrang can execute.
Not quite, just a little bit too late. And he's actually forcing Bless out of his jungle as hard as possible.
Little kick in the back. But Zach can't gank Alistar. You can just use Headbutt, Pulverize, get him out of there. And then now that Kalista has Fate's Call, it has to be initiated with Totoro going for a hook that lands or a crazy flash play. And now they're thinking about diving this bottom lane, but they don't know where Twitch is, so this is so risky.
Well, they will see him with the Lantern now. They're really thinking about this comeback. Still just level 5. Will combo onto Ghost here, but he's taking a ton of damage. There's the Fate's Call. And with the teleport coming in, they will be forced to back off. Badul taking a bunch of damage. The flash play is going to pick up first blood. Here's Septed with that package, looking to turn this around, but that's 2 kills now. Going over to BBQ, and Crazy gets away. Make that 3. As the bottom lane, everything goes wrong for Ever8.
That was atrocious. Why would they go for that? There are still flashes and heals on the side of Ever's bottom lane. They had no vision. Lucian can't stop a teleport. They have Corki with package trying to make something happen on the map, but oh my god, and we're going to look at it again. So as soon as they get Lantern, they're like, okay, maybe we can get a double Pulverize. Play's already been utilized. Great, we have so much damage, but this hook from Totoro stops Lee Sin right away. He's not even level 6, and now that Fate's Call came out, it's Kalista that's tanking out the turret. But by this time, it's so disjointed that Scepter joins in late, Renekton's already cleaning everybody out, and Comeback just decides maybe we can make one last hurrah to try to salvage this play, but it's just not enough. And BBQ get 3 kills handed on a silver platter, and mid lane is almost down on a solo victor in under 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, and as we saw, it was never going to go well with all the summoners up and the play out of Totoro, but you can see the idea that they had, you know, Fate's Call, trying to go for the knock-up, Septed with the teleport and the package. It's like, okay, we can get a ton of damage done under this turret, but as you guys see, the outcome is not nearly what they were expecting. And actually landing a hook now, combo out of Comeback, trying to make this not happen, but the spray and pray is coming out. Comeback forced to flash away, but he does not go down. And more summoners blown in the bottom lane.
Ooh, things are getting rough for Ever's bottom lane. Now that the flashes were burned and healed as well, they are now at a serious combat disadvantage. And more vision for everybody. Here comes Ghost.
He's not seen just yet. They're going to be jumping in here with the Zac. The blue buff will go over to Septed. Looks like there's the kidnap. Comeback, he's so low, but he's going in. He will be hooked up. There's the Fate's Call to save him.
Mid lane is down now.
Now it's going to be First Blood Turret going over to Tempt here. It's a huge chunk of gold to give over to a victor. At this point in the game, there it is. Meanwhile, Blast counter jungling, and everyone from Ever8 forced to go home.
That's great proactivity from the side of BBQ, taking advantage of what they achieved in the bottom lane, pushing them in, going for that great hook from Totoro, making sure that Duel and Comeback have to get out of that lane, and then they invade with pressure on mid and the jungle matchup. Look at the vision in the red side. They know what was going on the blue side. They have the timer on that buff, and when the invade comes in, sure, they weren't able to get kills, but first brick to a solo victor is more than enough as a consolation prize.
Yeah, they've got to be feeling pretty good in this game. Already almost a 3,000 gold lead at 11 minutes. And a super fed Victor, most farm in the game by 1 over the Corki.
And the irony is that so much of the draft was in our eyes around stopping Zach, but Zach has had nearly no influence in this matchup so far. It has been all about Ever going for some plays, barring that last one, but everything that BBQ have been doing, they've just been responding to what Ever has been doing. That dive bottom lane was the biggest one of them all, and now they're sitting at a comfortable lead. They're going to go for that bot lane tier 1 now, and with the Mountain Dragon in sight, a turret will yield this serious objective.
Yeah. The always somewhat uncomfortable. Oh, okay, hold that thought. Come back. He's going to be caught once again. There is the death sentence into the box. Smacking some heads together here is Blast. But there's that Dragon's Rage trying to kick him back. Come back extremely low, looking to get over the wall. Balrog is going to get that attempt. We'll just put out the Chaos Storm to get the life of
Dragon's
the Alistar.
killing him.
Oh man, the Dragon trying to get on top of that Zach. Ghost is all alone here, trying to go 1v3. Totoro not in position, doesn't have his lantern. It's in the pit, and down he goes.
What a bizarre chain of events. So they try to go on comeback, but he's pretty tanky, and Fate's Call wasn't available. So every time they've gone on Alistar before, Fate's Call was able to save him, but they actually have the inside track because they commit so much to Ghost, and a great Dragon's Rage from Malrang stopped everything, and because they attacked from different flanks, they just had no chance of saving that play.
Okay, Crazy popping his dominance, trying to go here onto Keen, at least push him out of the lane. Not going to dive the turret, but he has pushed it here. Gonna use the calling. Does have his teleport up, so he can just go back home.
Threatening with possibly going for a package play topside, but Keen's too low enough, so it would only be Corki going into the top side. And I want to draw attention to his first item, which was a Hex Drinker. Initially thought maybe it was a Sheen in lane. It's a typical Corki first back item, and he's gone with the Hex Drinker, which is a fine choice when dealing with Victor and Zach, as so much magic damage is coming out from both of them in the form of burst, so it would allow you to lane safely. However, him leaving lane was really the undoing of all of this, because had he had a Sheen or a damage item, perhaps that would have gone differently in the bottom side. Here's the engage. So they land everything onto comeback, but that's tank. So they don't have enough damage to follow through on that. Meanwhile, Corki's coming out through the river, and they connected Chaos Storm here, and this is fine. But the just Bless going in was the one that makes everybody from BBQ commit to all of this. A bit of a lapse in communication. As Temp just said, you know what, I got it with Chaos Storm, or just let him go. We might be able to get a dragon in return for the low HP of Alistar. That would have been a better play. So Zach going in ends up getting Twitch killed as well, and that's where the individual communication and team aspect is lacking in some of these lower tier teams. Yeah,
definitely getting a full helping of that tonight. So
well, Helper is not here.
Yeah, he might come in later. Keen hasn't been doing too bad. No big solo plays or anything like that, but at least he hasn't died yet. I may have spoke too soon, as there's the stun into this Lucian. Gonna be pulled back with that Q, and down he will go. I did, in fact, speak a little bit too soon.
You literally just jinxed him. That's your fault. His death is your fault.
I've got his blood on my hands. I don't feel good about this. This is a new player in LCK. Poor guy.
That's exactly what we saw in the match in Game 1 of SKT versus KT, why picking carries into Renekton is a risky matchup, because if you get dove and you're not itemizing to deal with the damage and base values that come out of these champions, as well as the cleaver itemization, you're just going to be fodder 24/7. And Zac and Renekton can do this a million times over, and there's never an answer for the side of Lucian. That's why we have seen the rise of Gnar instead as an answer. As mini Gnar, you can deal with the Renekton in the same way that a range AD carry can do so, and then you also have the added benefit of turning into Mega Gnar and defend yourself from a crazy dive.
So we got Mountain Drake started here by BBQ. Ever8, they do have vision of it, but they show no signs of trying to contest it at this point. Just going to give that one over to Bless. with that extra 25 gold.
No. This mid game forever is now not in their terms. Not a single item has been completed as a spike. An attempt, but remember that if Alistar saves his headbutt and pulverize, disengage is unlikely to happen. He just used it!
Oh man, and in a ton of trouble now is both of these guys, as even the TP is coming in. You can Fate's Call to try to save comeback here. Will he get away? That is the question. The chase is on. Here comes Victor. And this poor little cow is going to be forced to flash the wall.
Looking for greener pastures over the Dragon Pit, but they just blew everything. Even Zach using a ornamental Let's Bounce there to try to look a little flashy on that. At least they're trading a Herald in return and a top tier 1. So the teleport, completely unnecessary on this side of BBQ, but still, they are the ones making the proactive play.
Herald is getting low, but not low enough, it seems. Bless and Tempt will get in. They can be turned on. Comeback still at full health, but here comes Crazy. Going to make this a 4v3 for now. In comes Totoro to pop in, and Crazy trying to go onto that dive. The smite will go over to Zach, in fact. Bless will secure that Rift Herald, and now Tempt's going to be knocked straight into the fight, and down he will go to Septed here. Comeback taking up a ton of damage, but can seemingly go down. Finally, Crazy with a double kill. With a little spin, a twirl, and a double kill, but he will be paying for it with his life. Down he does go.
They needed 5 men to take down that Renekton, and that's why you don't take these fights in the early game. That was a 3v4 and then a 3v5, and BBQ was able to almost walk away victorious out of that one. They actually did win the Smite War, and now Bless is just going straight down the mid lane, thinking about where to use that Herald next. So a good response from the side of BBQ to stop that Herald take, but you now understand the power that Ever is facing when dealing with Zac and Renekton come this mid game. These AD carries don't stand much of a chance at this early stage. Now the items like Warden's Mail are coming out onto the 2 primary tanks and will only get tougher. So they need to complete not only their own damage itemizations, but the penetration items as well.
Let's take a look at this fight again. You can see the smite here from Bless is on point. It looked a little bit early from Malrong.
It's a good kick flash from him that was able to pick up Victor. Even though he had little mana, he still would have been a major contributor to this fight. And now this is just a huge slice and dice. Plus 600 gold on that one, just straight to the butcher shop. But that's a 4-1 Renekton.
Scary guy indeed. And building a lot like the other Renektons we've been seeing. Just go Black Cleaver into some tanky items.
So I'm actually not entirely sure if he intended to flash and stun Alistar and try to burst him down, or try to get the stun on the eye and secure the Herald in the combination with Bless. It worked in the end, so it might have been that they wanted to go for the Herald. So no matter what, it was still a good heads-up play from Crazy, unless we speak to him later and he reveals that he misclicked. That definitely is a possibility.
We could be results-based for now, just like how Tempt missed both of those CS, the cannon and the ranged. Let's see if he can secure his blue buff. The next question here. And yeah, Ever8 not willing to take that fight. They do have a ton of vision over here. It can be cleaned up by BBQ as they retake that place. Double Warden's Mail on the side of both Crazy and Bless for BBQ. When you're going against this many auto attackers, I guess that is the item of choice.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta go Warden's Mail. When you, as a second they got locked in, I guarantee you the coach even told them, Ninja Tabis and Warden's Mail, no excuses.
What about Bless and Tempt then?
It's understandable for him, but even Twitch has gone with Tabis.
Yeah. Playing it smart. Gotta survive to do the damage.
There's a point where you prioritize your ability to deal damage over simply survivability. Survivability doesn't win you games in most scenarios, unless it doesn't conflict with the way that your champion operates. No boot truly makes Renekton more powerful. Sure, cooldown reduction would be nice, but most of the time he builds CDR already, and this is a truly far back Herald that I'm not entirely sure why they keep using it this far back. You could just use it a little bit closer, as he was walking that same way.
I mean, there's a an okay amount of CC on the side of Ever8, but the amount of times that we've seen it get interrupted when summoned is, I think it's twice in LCK, maybe 3 times. It's very unlikely. Okay, Elastic Slingshot past the Lucian, who's forced to flash away. Big engage here from Comeback to try to save his ally. Keen getting really low, though. He will get away with his life, but look at this push coming on in. Scepted forced to flash that Elastic Slingshot. They will take out the tier 2. BBQ not looking to dive any further.
Malrun was such a hero there on Keen, using the safeguard to keep him alive, and then the blast cone to get him out of that Chaos Storm. So a true trooper there, but now BBQ have control of this red side jungle. They steal the red buff, and now you know Vision is going to be dropped around this red side to prepare for a Baron in the upcoming minutes, and they can do so with ease. They can tank this one without any troubles. There is, however, a Mountain Dragon, so there's a chance they prioritize this first to minimize the chances of a steal going down.
Crazy's rotating up. As I say that he returns to the lane. Looking for a pick on to Comeback. Red buff here for Ghost, and he is in a ton of trouble, just all alone. Not the first time we've seen that happen. In comes Bless, will not have it stolen. The Ren is going to do it, but uh-oh, 2 members are going to be kidnapped up to the Crocodile. Looking for that damage. Look at Duel all alone. The hook will not land, but Ghost will flash the wall and pick up that kill. Just absolute domination by the side of BBQ, even though the Mountain Drake does go over to Ever8.
Crazy is just taking him back straight to Pangea. There's no answer to this Crocodile, just having complete reign over this Rift, and now he's a 5-1 Renekton who coincidentally actually got kicked in the same direction as the Let's Bounce, so it looked like everybody just got knocked up by that one, and now they transition into a Baron, and I don't think that Ever have the tools to make a comeback into this game. Comeback is not enough. He's just been getting caught out left, right, and center, and only Fate's Call is their possible way back into this, and now Keen is
boy. Ooh. He's going to get flashed on here. The culling does come out, but Crazy still going on in. Keen in so much trouble. I mean, that's part of the LoL handbook. Don't go up against a guy who's 5 kills ahead of you.
What handbook are you reading?
Apparently not the same one as Keen. But hey, you guys can see the results of that fight. Saw that Crazy was low, and he was like, oh, maybe I can take it. But then the buff from Dominus. He was close, but not close enough.
He tried.
We give him a medal for him.
Well, that's just like the new honor system. You're forced to compliment someone. What if I didn't like anybody, huh?
Are you really forced to compliment someone? I haven't played after the patch.
I don't think so. I don't think you're forced to do it, but still, what if I don't want to do that?
Well, then you just don't compliment them. It seems pretty simple.
It's selecting from a set of compliments that I don't want to give.
Oh, what if? Is there no like other compliments where you can like type in a little?
I mean, I would do a compliment like he didn't talk at all and had no signs of raging.
I think that's the kept his cool compliment. Isn't that one of them?
Could be. It's in Korean. I can't understand.
Oh, that's
I have
true.
a Korean client, so I just click on whichever one looks cool, all right? That's why I don't know them.
That makes sense.
So I've been giving compliments that I don't understand.
Guys raging the whole game, you give him the keep it cool compliment. It's actually very fitting in a sarcastic sense.
The gig is up, all right? That's what's been going on.
Crumbs' Korean study not going as well as I had originally hoped.
It's just like how when I started playing, I ended up playing Flex Q all the time. Thinking
that's right.
Thinking that I was playing rank because I couldn't read it.
Well, there's always next year. We got this push going on, and Ever8's kind of just sitting under turret. No signs of wanting to engage as they are 10,000 gold behind.
They don't have the damage tools to deal with anybody on this side of BBQ right now.
They would need like a perfect engage either onto Ghost or Tempt, and it would have to be like Fate's Call into a big knock-up from the Alistar, perhaps into a kick.
But that's not enough.
Even then.
Renekton's a huge threat.
Yeah. They'd have to somehow get around the giant croc. And here he goes, jumping on in with the help of Bless. And you can see just how little damage both these guys are taking. Duel, he's going to disappear along with the tower. And in comes the Spray and Pray, another tool that Ever8 just cannot deal with at this moment in time. Down goes the first inhibitor. Won't be the last.
Oh, they are not choosing to try to end it. They just want to make sure that they take everything that Ever has to offer, going with that second inhibitor into the mid lane, and there is no chance of retaliation on the side of Ever8 this time around. They can just think about next game, as right now this one is all but over.
Yeah, looking like lights out here for Ever8, and especially with the Mountain Drake on the way, basically means they have no chance of getting any objective, like a Baron or even an Elder Dragon if they can push it that late. Really in a tough spot here.
There's a Knight's Bow on Malrang. At least he's had his pride.
He has his pride.
Yeah.
He fought for justice and honor, like any knight would do, but he's still 1-3.
Well, I think now in the UK you can get knighted for not being a fighter. You can be an actor and get knighted.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Funny
how that works.
Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Elton John, there's a couple others. Paul McCartney, all sirs.
Is it preferable to be called Sir? Would you like if I call you Sir Crumbs? Is that something you would like, Crumbs?
Maybe in another setting.
All right, I see. What about Sir Alberto? I don't really feel like that fits, honestly.
Call me by my middle name, Sir Miguel.
Oh, that's good.
That sounds
yeah,
more
that's nice. Well, this is the push we were all waiting for. BBQ looking to end this game before 30 minutes. Shouldn't be too hard of a task. Looking to get 2 wins in LCK, both against the same team.
Baby steps. You got to start somewhere. Oh, actually, yeah, both against the same team.
Okay, here we go. Bless going in alone, kind of just tanking for his team. And here's Crazy, come back trying to make something work. And Scepted all the while is going to be flayed out of his Valkyrie. Really nice Chaos Storm is going to end their life, and everybody's just going to melt. That's going to do it, guys, for game number 1. BBQ just trying to get as many kills as possible before ending out this game. Totoro looking for that hook is going to miss, even though they're all in the pool, and that will be game number 1. Going over to the BBQ Olivers.
Ever since that awful dive into the bottom lane, we knew this game would end just like this, so no surprise to absolutely nobody. And I would imagine that even Ever themselves was not surprised ever since that horrendously botched power dive at around 8-minute mark. But BBQ at least showing signs of knowing how to close the game out. Granted, the compositions did benefit them if they were to get significantly far ahead. So next game, we might see a different change of draft, but even maybe a substitution coming in from the side of Ever.
Yeah, you might. I mean, Keaton's performance on the Lucian top was lackluster. He really had a hard time dealing with the Renekton Zag dives. Was going kind of even in the lane before the dives did come out. Comeback's play on Alistair was, again, I guess we're just going to have to wait for comeback number 4, guys.
And then you got the list right here. That's 117 times that Zach has been pretty much picked or banned, and
100% of the time.
Yeah, so that's 100% of the time they let him go once again. I think we've learned the lesson that we thought we knew since day 1. Don't let Zach go through.
Give him Caitlyn instead. Caitlyn right now is sitting at a 70% win ratio, though. Hasn't been picked and banned as many times as Zach, but I think people found out about the Caitlyn after about 2 weeks in LCK. Didn't happen right at the beginning.
What do you mean? No more Lucian? He should have played more to Kaiser. And here's the dive that started everything. They went for a 3-man dive. They had Corki in the wings as well, but it was too late.
Look at these graphics.
From Callista was off. And then they were able to just clean everybody right at the end. Look at this one. Alistair just to go back in, donates his life. Oh, the corpse falls on the rat. If this was real life, that would have been Twitch going down too.
taking a look at this in crystal clear 360p. Really enjoyable. Really enjoyable for me. Yeah, I mean, as you said before, it really was just the one dive. This was the mistake that BBQ made, where Bless goes in and sacrifices his life to the Dragon God. And Ghost says, "I won't let you die alone, brother."
Yeah, they could have just let him go, but he ended up dying. Then the lantern gets thrown the wrong way. Oh well, this was about as bad as it got for them this game, and we got ourselves another HD reel. But
the big slice and dice.
This is just the Renekton mid-game power. Like, that's a plus 600 gold on that slice and dice, and he ended up having to be wrangled by 5 people to actually go down, considering that he had Cleaver Tabis by this stage in the game. And ever since then, it just looked like this. This is exactly what the game looked like. The kick goes on to Renekton into everybody else. You could not have planned that one better.
Oh boy. And this is the 1v1. Keen tries to show off, hey, I can stand up to the 5-1 Renekton. Oh wait, no I can't.
He flashed in the face of the culling to even add more disrespect.
So here's our result. Ahead 15,000 gold, only 1 turret, and 4 kills for Ever8. They did also pick up 1 Mountain Drake. The Renekton having almost as much damage as the Twitch in this game.
This game was such a wonky game, to be honest. Ever didn't do a whole lot ever since that play happened to the bottom side. The composition relied on getting ahead early on, and the movements in the map didn't tell us that they were going to go for that. So it felt like they let these power picks go through without much of an answer, and they paid dearly for it ever since they failed going for that tower dive.
Look at that Callista damage, though. Just barely peeking above the Lee Sin. Never really got an opportunity to be hitting much of anything. Just kind of died in a lot of these fights. So, as you said, I think there's a lot for Ever8 to think about as we do jump into our 8-minute break. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes before we get to game number 2.